Moving on, a shocking story of child sexual abuse being reported from the national capital. The Delhi police has arrested a tailor who confessed to having raped and sexually abused hundreds of minor girls over the last 4 to 5 years. 38-year-old pedophile Sunil Ratogi allegedly targeted more than 700 minor girls between the age group of 8 to 10 over a period of 4 to 5 years. He has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody. Reports say that Rastogi was arrested 2 years back as well, but was let off by the police. The serial offender confessed on camera that he enjoyed raping and molesting little schoolgirls. The Delhi police have deployed teams to verify his statement. They are currently tracking his phone to search for more victims. It was while probing the rape case of a 7-year-old girl in New Ashoknagar in East Delhi that the Delhi police saw images of the suspect assaulting a minor in one of the CCTV clips. According to the police, he used to wear the same clothes while committing the offence. The rape accused is now in police custody.
बच्चों को कैसे लेके जाते हैं?
कितने साल से ये सब कर रहे हो बच्चों के साथ?
4-5 साल। अच्छा लगता था बस।
अच्छा लगता था जी। कैसा अच्छा लगता था? शौक पूरा करने के लिए। कितने साल के बच्चे को तुमने अभी तक टारगेट किया है?
10-11 साल।
हाँ?
10-11 साल।
कहाँ तुमने कर रखा है?
गाजियाबाद, दिल्ली।
बच्चों को कैसे लेके जाते थे? टॉफी देते थे, क्या करते थे, कैसे लेके जाते थे?
उनसे कहता था तुम्हारे पापा ने कोई सामान भेजा है, ले लो चल के।
इसको कल पकड़ा है और इंटरोगेशन में बहुत सारी चीज़ें पता लगी हैं जिससे ये साफ जाहिर होता है कि ये एक पीडोफाइल क्रिमिनल है। इंटरोगेशन में इसने बताया कि आमतौर से हफ्ते में 1 दिन ये रुद्रपुर से आता और अपनी पीडोफाइल लस्ट को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए हमेशा 7 से 10 साल की बच्चियों को टारगेट करता था।
13 तारीख को मेरी बहन कॉपी लेने जा रही थी, वहाँ पे एक आदमी आता है, उससे बोलता है आपके पापा बुला रहे हैं। तो फिर वो उसके साथ चली जाती है पापा का नाम सुन के। फिर वो जीने पे ले जाता है, उसके कपड़े उतारता है और उसके साथ गलत काम करता है। फिर वो लड़की मेरी बहन मेरे घर आती है तो मेरे से बोलती दीदी ऐसे ऐसे हुआ। तो मैं दिल्ली पुलिस को फ़ोन किया मैंने, तो फिर उन्होंने उनको सब कुछ बताया, उन्होंने सब क्या वो किया, फिर वो पकड़ा गया।
This, of course, has been a horrific confession. I'm joined on the broadcast by Mr. Amod Kant, former DGP and Secretary of Prayas, as well as Utsav Bains, lawyer and child rights activist. Mr. Amod Kant, to you first. You know, it's just such a horrific saga. Over the last 4 to 5 years, a man who was even booked by the police at some point, he continues molesting and raping some 700 girls. How surreal and unbelievable can that get as well?
Possibly the numbers that he is declaring or perhaps trying to claim may not be true, but the fact remains that this man is a serial abuser. He's a serial sexual abuser, and then he's a typical profile of a pedophile. There is no doubt about it, and whatever he has done is extremely horrifying. It's extremely horrifying, and probably it alarms a huge bell, and there is a need to be very, very cautious about it. In fact, today only, let me clarify, just today by chance, Mrs. Menka Gandhi, the Minister, Women and Child Development Minister, she was chairing a meeting where I was present, and we were discussing child sex abuse. And there is a decision to create a national alliance, which will consist of the leading voluntary organizations in the country like Prayas, and then different kind of bodies. It has been found that the number of child sexual abuse in any case is increasing in a very horrifying proportion. It's already 19,000 last year. So, but then this particular case has to be viewed separately. This case has to be viewed. He is an extremely sick person. He is an extremely wrong kind of person who deserves the worst possible punishment. Because for him, a young child, you know, the child of maybe 9 to 11, 12 years of age, is only a target. Such a child is a target for a prey, a target for sexual abuse, which he wants to do. And that means if he claims hundreds, that means he, in that frame of mind, you know, he is only trying to find an opportunity. Wherever there is an opportunity, he targets the girl, targets the child, and abuses in the places which I have read the newspapers, and I know that while picking the child from their school, he finds a particular child who happens to be slightly, she is drifting and she is not exactly there with other children. And then he targets, he takes away, and the typical way he explains that the child's father has sent her, and that some gift he is trying to produce, some cloth and all that, which is part of his profession, and then takes the child and does it. So this is something which is not that it's uncommon. Let me clarify. I mean, I know of cases. I know of several cases which I have helped investigation in my career.
So, you are saying it's not uncommon, and the fact that he was using these girls as a target. But Utsav, the fact is that there is this monster in society posing as a tailor. How does one identify these monsters? How do you strengthen the kids? There's a lot of debate that goes around in India every time you talk about sexual education and other issues. How do you make sure that the kid is safe there on the streets?
Smita, the only way to make kids safe in the country is strengthening the criminal justice system. India lacks about 1 lakh judges from the subordinate till the topmost judiciary. India lacks the number of police officers qua the population. The government only spends 0.3% of the GDP on the criminal justice system. If this man knows that I won't be punished, or I'll be punished by 10 more years, where is there any deterrence? Where do you find that law plays its role as an angel and punishes these kind of individuals within 6 months? And what stops the parliament for enacting a law that lays down that in such cases, in cases of sexual assault, you need to have completion of the sentence and the trial in 6 months? Nirbhaya was gang raped in December 2012. We are in January 2017 and her rapists are yet to be hanged. What stops the government and the parliament to convene a special sessions and have a law that says have a 6 months trial and punish these rapists? And we do our Okay,
Utsav, stay with us. I am also joined by our colleague Shalini Lobo, who will get us people's reaction. Shalini, what are people on the streets in Delhi really talking about this case? Are parents in a state of horror? And what are they saying? Did they sort of miss out on the symptoms that there was this man in the neighborhood who was luring kids in this way?
Well, Smita, people put it all down to the laws, whether it's strict laws or stricter implementation of our existing laws. We've seen molestation and sexual offenders since the very beginning of this year. We saw horror in Bengaluru, from there Bombay, Telangana, and now in the national capital, where a man has raped and sexually violated almost 700 minors in the last 12 years, even arrested once and then let off to continue and going about his way. Now I've got these two young ladies with me. Let me put the question forward to them. What do you all think is the problem that people sexually offend women and they somehow keep doing it, even if they're punished, they keep doing it, the crime doesn't seem to cease?
I would say a lot of progress towards the westernization, and that is the problem. And I think people committing such things in continuation, I think they are basically psychopaths. We can say that because they get really aroused by just seeing a female, irrespective of their age. I think that is the reason.
As a woman, do you feel safe when you walk out late in the night, or do you have to think twice?
Not at all. Honestly, not at all. Be it even in the daylight, it's not at all safe walking on the streets. People looking at you as if they just want to rape you, take your clothes off, and leave aside the night. It is not even safe in the daytime.
Well, you have young ladies telling me here that it's not safe in the day for them, and this man was preying on schoolgirls, 7 to 11 years of age, lurking around in East Delhi. He would take a train all from his workplace. He would come from Ghaziabad, he'd come from Rudrapur, take a train to Delhi on his weekdays off, and he would lurk around for small school children. And those are school children he would just convince, saying their father has to give them something and take them away. And here's a lady who's telling me that she doesn't feel safe walking in the day because people stare at her, and she feels very uncomfortable and uneasy when people look at her.
Okay, Shalini, clearly this man, of course, as Mr. Amod Khan there was saying that he was targeting young kids. But Mr. Amod Khan, also the fact remains that this man was in the police radar 2 years back. He was booked at least on 2 occasions. When a man has this kind of a history, shouldn't it be the role of the police to keep a sharp eye on him through some sort of a system?
I think that that's a very, very important point, because that is where the system fails us. The system decidedly has failed us, because world over, in any systematic kind of, wherever the criminal justice system operates in a proper manner, and such people, you know, who happen to be pedophiles or who happen to be child abusers, some kind of common data bank is maintained for them where they can be connected. And whenever a person like him, this kind of character, if he has been found indulging in similar kind of activity once ever in life, then probably he should come on a data bank where he could be kept under watch. There is no way you can leave such a person at large. In this particular case, this is what has happened, that this man is coming every time, and then he is trying to do the same thing, he is doing the same thing for which the legal process has already caught him once or twice. So this is something very important, and I mentioned to you right in the beginning that this morning only we had a big debate about it.
Right.
Not with reference to this particular case, it was slated much earlier. The news came only today or yesterday. And it was being thought that National Crime Records Bureau, I give an example. The National Crime Records Bureau is supposed to be the national level data bank. And there is a program called Crime Criminal Tracking Network System, CCTNS. Under that system, it is believed that a person, there is a particular modus operandi, let's say child abuser, caught in a particular case, and under that modus operandi, once he is caught, then probably he can be maintained, his movement can be watched. Wherever he lives, the area police station is supposed to keep the person under surveillance. He is a dangerous man.
Yes.
He is a very, very dangerous person. And such a dangerous person can't be kept at large.
Maybe some kind
Systems
of a
have to
tracking
catch up.
device,
Systems
you know,
have
some
to
kind of a
improve.
tracking
That's the
device that
point
is
I'm trying.
used in the West for offenders like this, Utsav. Can that help in preventing such future crimes, you know, by a man who repeatedly commits such offense?
No, I mean, technology will play a very important role in catching such culprits. But who's the enemy here? The enemy is some terrorist, is some Pakistan-sponsored terrorist that we can't even solve this problem of rape once and for all. I mean, is the enemy so big that the state, with all its machinery, the police, the criminal justice system, gives in? I mean, in last 2 weeks, there have been Bangalore molestations. There have been a 4-year-old girl child who was raped just yesterday, and today morning you have the same issue. I mean, is it such a complex situation that the politicians and the government can't deal with it? Then call in the army. If the police is insufficient to take on rapists,
Utsav, you know,
call up the
in
army
this particular
and
case,
let there be military trials of all these individuals.
Okay, you are saying there should be a military style trial, but you know, a very specific question, Utsav, because this case involves young children who might not even be fully aware as to what really happened to them. Do you think there are a lot of families which still remain in denial that their child might have faced sexual abuse, and that also is a problem that needs to be addressed?
Smita, the statistics are in front of you. 500 to 600 girls have been raped by this man. Only 1 or 2 or 3 have come forward. I mean, that only shows how poorly it reflects on the government, how poorly it reflects on the criminal justice system of the country. I mean, why was in first place this man let off by the government when he had the audacity to rape a girl child? And if he was let off, then what were the reformative or medical procedures taken? I mean, to cure this illness, if he's a pedophile, there are medical procedures that are available. There is also a reformative aspect of jailing a person. So, I mean, it is complete failure of the criminal justice system on a whole. And if the government and the police is unable to deal with rapists, let me say it on live national television, call in the army. We've had enough of rapes. We Indians can't wake up with this problem day and night.
Okay, Utsav, you know, we can understand the emotions are absolutely riding high and strong here, and this story should make every individual, every Indian absolutely sick to the stomach. Shalini, very quickly tell us, what is the police saying? You know, because as Mr. Amod Khan said, that we don't really know if the numbers that are being spoken about are right or not, but why have so few people come out to lodge reports so far against this man?
Well, police sources have told us that he has raped around 700 minors. But then, however, this man, during the interrogation, happened to tell the police that he has lost count and does not know how many children he has sexually violated. However, he was very shameless and he has no regrets when he spoke to the media, saying that he preyed on 11-year-old girls, and he's been doing this for around 4 or 5 years. So what the police has done right now is, during the investigation, they've organized around 10 teams. So there's new Ashok Nagar team, a Mayur Vihar team, a Gandhi Nagar team, and they're going around and they're trying to find more victims to speak up on this. Now, they identified him when they were probing a case of a 7-year-old minor's rape case. They were probing it and they found him in the CCTV image talking to this girl, coaxing her to come with him, and then he took her into confidence and walked away with her. That's when they nabbed him. They managed to identify the accused and they nabbed him and took him away. So now they're taking his mobile phone records and they're trying to track his movement so that they know where all he's gone about, whether it's just Delhi and Ghaziabad, or whether he's violated minors in Uttarakhand, whether he's violated minors across other places, not just these 3 places. That's what they're trying to do because they believe.
Right. You know, Mr. Amod Kant, the question here also then arises is, increasingly in the last few months or years, in media, people have been more and more vocal about these issues. We have been taking up these issues. As an anchor, I have lost count of the number of times I have debated these issues. And you know, you come back home and you feel depressed about it. But is there some sort of a reverse, in fact, you know, psychology at work out here when it comes to these criminals and there not being any fear of law?
No, in a way you are correct, because the fear of law should have dawned on these people a couple of years back, because POCSO is a very strong law, Protection of Children Against Sexual Offences Act, and post Nirbhaya Criminal Law Amendment Act, which has extended it further to adult women also. These are very powerful laws actually, and the punishment is very high. It's a very, very high punishment. Yet, you know, the law has probably not been implemented that much. Although, as I mentioned in the beginning, that now last year there were 19,000 cases, which is quite a big number actually. But then let me clarify one more point. 2007, we conducted that national study on child abuse, which indicated that maybe every second child has suffered some kind of sexual abuse, maybe minor one, not the serious assault or anything like that. So it's a very grave situation across, where you know a large number of people, and again that huge conspiracy of silence. The girls don't say, the families don't come out. In this case also, I mean, if one mother or one family understood that a particular girl was behaving differently, she could be subjected to some kind of assault or whatever, then what about those 600 or 500 other families? They would have perhaps understood, they should have understood. I mean, the families, the mothers, the parents should understand that if a child is being abused, the child's behavior changes. You understand that? So this is a problem that needs to be tackled at all angles, from all angles. That's the point I'm making.
Mr. Amod Kant, you made fair points there, and Utsav Bands also, of course, you know, making those impassioned appeals here on the broadcast that how the state is failing its citizens. Shalini Lobo getting us up to speed with where the police probe is heading. Many thanks to all of you for joining.